ਸੋ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋ-ਹੋਸਟ ਜੁਨੀਤਾ ਠਾਕੁਰਲਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਨਫਿਨਿਟ ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਮਾਨਸਿਕ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਏ ਉਹ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਨੇ ਹਾਂ। और इस बारे कुछ गलबात करते हैं जुनीता ठाकुरलाल। Hey Junita, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So today we would like to talk about, everybody can reach their infinite potential.
Absolutely.
But why is it that we do not reach? Why is it is said that just 2% of the population is the one which can reach their potential, whereas the others, though they have everything in them, they might get motivated, they might get inspired, but ultimately they just finish off and it's only those 2% who reach to the top. Any particular reason for that?
Well, I think that it's more of a personal journey. I mean, we learn in I think it's in high school or in first year university. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy, which is basically how people think. And I'm sure you must have heard of this.
Absolutely.
But basically you've got your physiological needs, you have your need for love and acceptance, you have your own self-esteem and your safety and security. Those are the things that people take with them.
Right.
And then of course through your when you're being brought up in life and all the different experiences that you have, they all fit into one of those four categories. But what goes beyond that is your connection to yourself, your inner self,
right,
who you really are. And you get lost in all of the maze of all these other things to try
right,
to piece together who you really are. That's the step that people tend to forget about, or they tend to lose. And I think that a lot of that has to do with expectations. Expectations that society puts on us,
right,
expectations that our parents put on us, our peers, as well as ourselves. We put
right,
a lot of expectations on ourselves.
right,
And then a lot of times when you're not able to meet those expectations, then there comes disappointment. And nobody wants to disappoint their parents. Everybody
Absolutely
wants to be accepted
right,
by their peers, by society in general. And when something goes wrong or they feel that they have done wrong or that they haven't necessarily achieved what they should have achieved because somebody is disappointed, then they take that upon themselves. So I know that I'm the worst person for that. So I've done that throughout various aspects of life where
right,
I have taken it upon myself, where really it's all about how you should be taking it on. How am I processing that?
right.
So why am I taking that blame for myself? So a lot of it is that self-realization that people tend to forget.
Right. You have raised very important aspects in your answer. Being in the media, you get the opportunity to meet hundreds and thousands of
Yes.
people of different natures, of different categories. Now, when you talk about, understanding yourself, that's the most important thing. And as I started in the beginning, that we are not able to reach our potential. So basically, in today's world, the scriptures, what we read, were the manuals which were to give us that inspiration to do what we want to do or to achieve what we want to be. But unfortunately, we have just covered those scriptures for just bowing before them instead of getting the knowledge from them.
Right.
Whereas on the other hand, what we find in the mainstream society today is in the form of seminars and big
That's right.
authors who are coming forward who are talking the same things. Now, let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
This is a major multi-billion-dollar industry which is developing
Absolutely.
because everybody wants to reach their infinite potential. And when you talk about to understand yourself, the expectations from the community, expectations from your parents, of course they're going to remain. And you have also talked about dividing your life into 4 basic aspects of spirituality, your body, your physical needs, your emotional needs, and of course your business or job, whatever you're
Right.
doing. So let's talk from that pretext for our viewers today. We have to live a balanced life. But in today's world, what is happening is probably in pursuit of just the material success, we
Right.
many times sideline the other aspects.
Yeah.
So let's talk and tell me a little bit about this as to how we can come to that balanced approach.
Again, I'm just going to bring it back down to the basics. So starting with the material needs, I think that growing up in a Western society, having to find that balance between who we are as South Asians, but within the Western society, whether it be through influences through school, influences through our peers, through jobs, through media, television, everything, we find that there is that place where we are, we feel the need to I guess, live according to the Joneses, to keep up,
Right.
To keep up with society. And that's us being accepted by society.
Right.
However, that emotional need is still there. So the need to feel love, to feel, a sense of intimacy, whether it's with one particular person, sexual intimacy, or with our families, with our, especially, I'm going to say parents, because for me that's a big thing,
Right.
is having that personal connection from my parents. And that's where that whole thing of expectation comes from.
Right.
Is I have this need to fulfill people's expectations.
Right.
And that expectation creates pressure upon me. And when I'm not able to fulfill that expectation, I feel disappointed in
Right.
myself. So like you had mentioned, those 2% of people, they're actually the ones that think outside
Beyond
of
that.
themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they think beyond them, whatever their is their realm. Like, if I'm not getting what I need here, well, then there must be something out there where I can feel fulfilled.
Right.
And so this is where all these seminars and all these books and all this come from. And so we can actually take pieces of that
Right.
and actually build ourselves up, so that way we can also reach our own higher potential. So
Right.
one thing I will mention is, we go to school, and what they teach us in school is nothing about money.
Oh,
they
yes.
don't teach you how to manage money.
Right.
And yet, how many people are in debt? What percentage of the population is in debt? We actually don't even get out of debt as Canadians
Right.
until halfway through the year. That is when we stop paying the government and we start paying ourselves.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about it. And likewise, there's an emotion attached to so many different things. So when it comes to education, once again, what society tells us is that after high school, you go to university. You get your university degree, you go to grad school, you get your job, and then you get a good government job. And the
Right.
good government job will pay for, things such as, your social security and your pension and your health benefits and all of that. But
So
what
that
they,
has been ingrained in the mind, that
absolutely.
kind of thinking, yeah.
It's a way of thinking, exactly.
Absolutely,
So
right.
that suddenly that expectation comes upon us,
Right.
so that way we have to live according to that.
Right.
And of course, once you have a good paying job, you get a car, you get a house, you get married, and then 50% of the divorce rate is our divorce rate currently.
Right.
So that's when people realize later on in life that, hey, I'm not happy. So why aren't I happy?
Absolutely. So what is this happiness, and why do you think that pursuit for acceptance from others is more ingrained in our minds? We'll talk about this after this short break.
Sure.
So ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਈ ਜੁਨੀਤਾ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਲਾਲ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਉਹ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਕੋਲ ਉਹ ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈ, ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਸ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ ਤੱਕ ਉਹ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਸਕਦਾ। ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੁਝ ਦੇਰ ਲਈ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇਨਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅਖੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਜਾਂ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜੀਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਨਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ।
Caring, comfortable, and cutting edge. Pacific Oral Health Center makes dental services accessible and affordable.
This dentist's office gave me my life back.
I came in here and I saw the work he did. I was shocked. I had teeth again.
Regardless of insurance or income status. Provided on a sliding scale, Pacific Oral Health Center assures both physical and financial comfort. Pacific Oral Health Center. Caring, comfortable, cutting edge.
ਸੋ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ-ਹੋਸਟ ਜੁਨੀਤਾ ਠਾਕੁਰਲਾਲ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਨੇ ਆ। ਹੈਪੀਨੈਸ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਨਫਿਨਿਟ ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ 'ਚ ਇੱਕ ਚੰਗੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਬਿਤਾਉਣੀ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਇਸੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਬਿਫੋਰ ਦ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਵੀ ਵਰ ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਅਬਾਊਟ that we can reach our infinite potential, and it's a very important thing. What point you raised was that we generally are looking for the approval of others.
Yes.
Whether it is in our social life, whether it is in our love life, whether it is in our material success, whatever it is. But when we talk about happiness as such, do we really get that happiness when somebody approves it, or it should be coming from within us? And actually, what is happiness?
It actually should not be coming from external approval. What that external approval means to us, in my opinion, is, it's not a material thing, but it's something that is the only thing that we know.
Right.
So we're used to having acceptance or approval from others. And it really should be from within. So when I was saying initially about the Maslow's hierarchy, those major issues, one thing that I didn't really touch on was the self-realization. That's the part where you are connected to yourself,
Right.
and you're also connected to your spiritual being, the divine.
Right.
So divine could be God.
Oh, yeah.
And God comes in so many different aspects. In every religion, that's why religion was created, right?
Right.
So that way we have something beyond ourselves to believe in. And when you actually start to I guess talk to the creator, it doesn't have to be, for me it's Bhagwan,
Yeah.
right? But when you do have that connection and you start to think, okay, well, what is really important in life? And how do I bring those aspects in order to make me happy? So do I really need a car? Does this car make me happy? No. Instead, I should be focusing on, I'm grateful to have this car because it helps me to get from A to B, or whatever the
Absolutely.
case may be.
Right. So that sense of gratitude, what you're talking for
Right.
everything what you have, because
Right.
most of the time we are only complaining about what we don't have, but we
Exactly.
forget to appreciate what we already have.
Exactly. We do live in a complaining society,
Right.
Which is unfortunate. And so we do forget every day that if we were to focus just a little bit on what we're grateful for, just something simple like three things every day. Every morning I wake up and I say, okay, I'm grateful for a hug from my mom, or the sun is out, or to have a nice cup of chai
Or
this
I'm
morning.
alive right now.
Or that I'm alive. I
Right.
have running water.
Yeah.
I mean, we really focus on our first world problems. Oh, my cell phone doesn't work. Oh, I forgot to charge it. These things that are material,
Right.
and we get caught up in that material world, whereas we forget to really be grounded and appreciate why we're here. So there
Right.
is a greater purpose in life.
Right.
Why are we here? I mean, we're only here for about 70 to 90 years.
Right.
Which is unfortunate, but that's the truth. And so in this short period of time, what impact are you going to make on this planet?
Right.
What impact are you going to make in this world? How about what are you going to teach your children? Or will you be able to help your peers? Are you building a legacy of some
Right.
sort? What are these things that you do? And most people don't. They're kind of walking around this planet, I don't want to say asleep, but they're
But
sort
we've
of.
forgotten the basic purpose, that's what you're talking
Exactly,
about.
because
What's
they're
the
not
purpose, why
connected.
we are here?
Exactly.
And, I would just like to mention about Steve Jobs. Everybody knows about him, how he, revolutionized this
Absolutely.
world.
Yeah.
When he was on his deathbed, a journalist asked him a question as to what is your basic success? What would you be most happy about? So he said, I'm not happy about the bank accounts I have, but I cherish the memories which I had with my family, with my
Exactly.
friends and everybody else. So
Exactly.
basically he was talking about the journey, not the destination.
Right.
And we generally, what happens is we are only focused on the destination and we forget to enjoy the journey.
The journey, which is all those little things in between that bring us happiness. So it's difficult for me initially. Your question was, what is the definition of happiness? So it's
Right.
difficult for me to describe what happiness is because it's different for everybody.
Everyone else, right.
But it is absolutely what you said. It's about focusing on the journey. So appreciating every day for what it is and trying to find what your higher purpose is and actually connecting with that.
Absolutely. And that's very important, connecting with whatever you think is your purpose, because generally there are general things what we talk about, but until and unless you yourself realize what your purpose is, you will
Right.
not be able to live that successful life, in quotes, that success, what you are aspiring for.
Right.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much and best
Thank
wishes.
you.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀ ਅੱਜ ਕਿ ਇਨਫਿਨਿਟ ਪੋਟੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਰੀਚ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੌੜਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਮਕਸਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੇ। ਕੀ ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਮੁਕਾਮ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਦ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝਣੇ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ, ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟੈਪਸ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਾਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਸੈੱਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕੁਛ ਦੇਰ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਗੇਨ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਇਨ ਦੈਟ ਗਲੂਮ, ਉਸੀ एनवायरमेंट में उसी एटमोसफेयर में चले जाने तो साडा जिहड़ा माइंड है सानू दोबारा तो ड्रैग करता है, पिछे नूं खिंचता है। सो इस करके हर एक स्टैप नूं इंजॉय करिए। जो भी मकसद है, हर एक व्यक्ति का अपना मकसद है, उसनूं पहचान करने वास्ते अपने अंदर डेल्व करिए, डीप डेल्व जाइए ताकि सानू पता चल सके कि साडा मकसद की है।